The problem with most SMMA aspiring agency owners is that they never even get in the mix. They never get a single client, get any experience, and they just have no idea what they are doing. Now, this video was inspired by a comment that a friend and past student of mine, Kyle, sent me in response to my most recent YouTube video. And basically, to summarize what Kyle said, is he really resonated with the video I made and said, yeah, the problem with people trying to get into this industry is that they never even get their first single client. And it's a situation where until you have one or two clients and until you have one or two results, it's very, very hard to get any clients at all. And it's almost as if the person you can talk to can sense your anxiety and your desperation that you need them to sign on. And in my previous YouTube video, what I was talking about is that one of the keys to being successful in sales and selling digital marketing services is actually being unattached to the outcome of the sales call. What I mean by that is obviously you prefer it to close and you prefer to sign on the client. But if the client is being unrealistic, is naive, is being difficult, is saying things that don't make sense, is asking for a ridiculous guarantee, it's better just to say, hey, we can't help you with that and explain why. And if you're willing to walk away from the deal, the other person can sense that and is going to take you a lot more seriously and ironically is much more likely to sign on. However, it's very hard to fake that level of nonchalance and detachment from the outcome if you actually have zero clients and you're like 1 month away from going broke and you literally need them to sign on to pay your rent. They can smell that desperation and it's going to show through in your voice, in your questions, in your responses. So what Kyle was saying is that in the beginning, you should work for free. You should offer to cover ad spend, do whatever it takes to get into the mix because the amount you're going to learn from actually working with a real client for 1 month, regardless of whether or not you get success for that client, is so much more than you'll learn from taking any course. And all the problem with all the gurus and courses is they've kind of brainwashed you into thinking that you're going to be making 10K a month within 60 days of starting the business. And because of that, you're not going to be willing to work for free. You're not going to be willing to work at a highly discounted rate. And you just have this ego already built up that's going to prevent you from getting your first couple clients. Because the reality is you're going to really have to hustle and scrape things together to get your first clients. And when you think about different business models, every business model has its price. If you think about starting a bricks and mortar business, you're going to have to take out a lease on a property, or maybe you have to buy machinery and equipment. You're going to have to put up tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to start the business. But when you're talking about an SMMA agency, the startup cost is basically $0. You can have a part-time job while you're starting it. So there's no reason for you to be entitled and think you need to be making all this money right away. You should be willing to work for a client for free to get the experience you need to actually start charging good rates and to know what you're doing, because the cost of admission to starting an agency is your time, energy, and willing to work, because it doesn't cost any money to start this type of business. So if so many people are entitled and think that in addition to not having to spend any money starting their business, they also shouldn't have to work for free. They also should see a return and be earning money right away. And it's just not how business works. There's risk inherent in any business, whether you're starting your own business, whether you're trying to sign on a client, etc. So thank you, Kyle, for inspiring this video. And I think this is a really good point in that people are not willing to hustle enough and do whatever it takes to get your first handful of clients. And because of that, you never get the real felt experience of what it's like working with clients, what it's like selling clients, that feedback loop that you get into. Because for every successful business owner, they have tapped into this positive feedback cycle where they do work for a client, they get feedback, they learn how to do the thing better, they learn how to sell and talk about the marketing better, they get more clients, they get better results, and it keeps going. But a lot of people never enter that positive feedback loop because they have too much ego or too much pride to discount their prices and take on one or two clients without earning that much money up front. But once you take on those first two clients, that is the training that trains you how to sell the service, how to deliver the service, and how to eventually be making $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a month, whatever your goal is. At the time of making this video, my agency manages about 25 clients. And if I could go back to my younger self or talk to you right now watching this video, I would say, imagine someone puts a gun to your head and tells you you will die if you don't get one client in the next 30 days. You don't have to charge them a management fee, but you have to convince them to actually work with you and actually trust you to run their ads. I can guarantee everyone watching this video would find a way to do it. They would be scrappy. They would pull strings they didn't know existed. They'd offer discounts. They'd offer to work for free. They'd make it happen. And that's what you should do, because after you have that first client, you're in the mix, you're in the game, you're in that positive feedback loop. And that's where you start seeing actual, real, tangible progress. Until next time, I'll see you later.